Have you ever heard the phrase, you have to give to get? You know, when it comes to sales, that phrase is used in every sales training, video, seminar, workshop, anything that I've ever seen. The person delivering the content has said, you have to give to get. The real question is, what does that mean? I mean, do I need to give you some money so you give me that money back? I'm already giving you my time, is that not enough? When it comes to selling successfully, you need to use reciprocity, and there's a little bit of a psychology behind that. So today we're going to talk about some tips, techniques, and strategies you can use to ensure there's reciprocity in sales, which will help you close more deals. Hi, I'm Shawn Casemore, and I help you learn how to be a top performing sales professional so that you can earn more money in less time. If that doesn't sound good to you, I'm not sure what does. So, if you like this video, make sure you click like below. Let me know that this is content you appreciate. And of course, you can always click subscribe to be notified each and every time I release a new video, which is on average about every week or so. You never know. Just keep you on your toes. That said, let's get into it. When it comes to selling, you need to come from a place of generosity. You know, it's interesting, when I had my first sales job, I had an office, I had my name on the door, and when I would talk to people and then ask them if they wanted to come back to my office, I almost felt like it was like, come on back, right? I'm gonna close this deal. That's not healthy. No, that wasn't the point. But I felt that way sometimes. I felt like, step into my lair. The point is this, when it comes to selling, you wanna come from a place of being helpful, being generous. After all, people buy from those they know, like, and trust. Now, I'm not saying by being friendly, being helpful, that you're gonna close more sales. Actually, no, that's exactly what I'm saying. If you are helpful and you come from a generosity mindset, you will close more sales. Maybe not today, but remember, sales is a long game. I'm trying to make some sales today, but also tomorrow, next week, next month, next year, 5 years from now, and on it goes. So that generosity mindset is really just telling yourself, I'm here to help. And if you find that's a little bit difficult because you want that sale, or maybe you're getting some pressure from your boss, you gotta make that sale, just tell yourself. And in fact, I've even said to prospects, look, I'm here to help. Not sure if I can, but we're gonna see what happens here, right? That's being honest. It's being genuine. People usually appreciate those kind of things. But most importantly, it's reaffirming for yourself that you're coming from a place of generosity. Let's be frank, or George, Sarah, Sally, doesn't matter. Let's be honest. Actually, no, you're in sales, you're always honest. Let me tell you this. People appreciate those that they can trust. And when you come from a place of trying to help, again, if you don't make the sale today, not only do you have the opportunity to make it tomorrow, but you've also got a chance to get referrals, which is a key strategy for top performing sales professionals. So start off with your generosity mindset. Okay, so you've got your generosity mindset. Now, what am I giving my prospect, right? That's the obvious question. Here's what you need to do. Put yourself in the shoes of your prospects. In other words, what would your prospect appreciate? What would they find of value, of interest? You know, I recently did some work with an MSP. So that's basically a technology company, sells services for those that don't know. And when working with the account managers, we talked about approaching new accounts. And they said, well, look, I just reach out, I send an email, I make a call, I send another email. And I said, well, what do you offer them? And they said, what do you mean offer? I reach out and say, hey, would you like to meet? We can help you. And I'm like, okay, but that's what everybody's saying. You need to stand out and be different. You need to offer something that's of value. So once we explored it a bit, they shared with me that many of their clients appreciate an assessment. Somebody that comes in for maybe an hour, maybe two, does an assessment, gives them kind of here are the risks, here are the areas you should improve upon. When they have done that periodically, it's almost always led to a sale. So my response was, well, that's great. Why aren't you doing that every time? Or at least for all of your key account targets. So you need to recognize, what is it that your prospects value? What would they find of interest? That's your starting point. And when you approach a prospect with something you can offer that's of value to them, that initiates reciprocity, which in layman's terms is give to get, right? When I provide you something of value, intuitively, inherently, and even psychologically, you will at some point want to give me something back in return. Maybe not at that moment, may not even be equal as far as weighting goes, but I've kicked off or initiated that reciprocity. So what do your prospects value and how can you provide that? That's what you lead in with. That is how you trigger reciprocity in sales. This next piece here is something I mentioned in the last point about referrals. You see, top performing sales professionals build referral vortexes. I've talked about this before. Think about a vortex like this massive funnel of all these referrals coming in from all different areas and sources. I've discussed this in my book, The Unstoppable Sales Machine. I even mention it briefly in my newest book, The Unstoppable Sales Team. The point I want you to consider is this. When it comes to creating reciprocity, if you come from a place of being helpful, of adding value, and what you're offering actually adds value, it's interesting, word gets around. People start to hear, hey, that Shawn guy provided me a free assessment. You should reach out and talk to him. It was really helpful. Oh yeah. I bet you he came in and tried to make the sale with that. No, there was no pressure. It was all free. I did end up using their services because it was such a great assessment. Shawn was so helpful and such a great salesman that ultimately I went with them. But here's the thing, right? This reciprocity, this offer of value, if you offer it from a place of being genuine, meaning I'm not going to tie the sale to this, I'm just going to offer it. I know it's a value and interest. I'm going to offer it. I hope it helps lead to the sale. Hope's not a strategy, but you get my point. But ultimately, if it doesn't, that's okay. Why? Because if people actually find value in it, they'll start to tell others. You know, years ago, I used to take my car to a mechanic and I'd get the oil changed. And when I went to this one shop, not only would they change the oil, they would check the tire pressure, they would check my windshield washer fluid, and they'd check a few other things under the hood. No extra charge. So when people said, hey, where do you get your oil changed? I always said that place because I get all this other stuff done, meaning I don't have to do it. They were adding value, not charging me for it, but as a result, I started sending them more work. So when you lead from when you lead from a place of reciprocity, you start to build and support a referral network of other people that want to capture that same value you've offered your prospects. So make sure what you offer is of value and tell your prospects, hey, if you know of somebody else that might be interested in this free assessment, in this value I'm offering you, let them know or let me know and I'm happy to reach out to them. That's how you kick off your referral. Reciprocity also requires a couple things on your part. You have to be genuine. We talked about that, meaning you're coming from a place of honesty. This isn't a, oh yeah, I'll help you. Meanwhile, I'm not planning to help you. So you have to be genuine, but you also have to be polite and smile, be happy, be helpful. Right? Being helpful and going, yeah, I can help you. I can get that done in a few minutes. It's all I got. That's not helpful. People don't appreciate that. I'm shocked when I reach out to other companies, maybe to provide services at my home, and they're rude, they're direct, they're ignorant. They say, yeah, we can come out and check that out for you in 6 months, right? That doesn't help me today when I'm calling you. So when you come from a place of reciprocity, it means that you as an individual need to also be helpful, be mindful of being helpful. What would you appreciate if you were the person on the other end of the phone, the meeting, or the email, right? It's being polite, it's being courteous, it's making your offer. If you're speaking to them, you're upbeat, you're positive, you're not down, negative, and demanding. Those are things that nobody appreciates. And no matter how much you try and kick off reciprocity, if you don't have the right attitude, it's not going to work for you. So check your attitude at the door, be cognizant of having the reciprocity attitude, which is positive, helpful, and genuine. The last piece of reciprocity I want to talk about is the psychological aspect. Now, I am not a psychology major. Let me start there. However, that give to get idea that you've heard so many times comes from the idea of reciprocity. Now, we've talked about how to use reciprocity in sales. What I want to share with you at the very end is what's behind some of this. You see, if you're always willing to help people, if you're always focused on helping others, you create this reciprocity cycle, right? Things that you put out will come back to you. And I don't mean that from a woo-woo standpoint, if you know what I mean. I'm saying if you're going around helping people, they're going to tell other people about you. They're going to appreciate the help. They might even buy something from you. It's as simple as that. When I was younger and used to go around and cut lawns in the summer, people would see me riding around on my dad's lawn tractor, cutting different lawns. Sometimes he used to push more, sometimes they're riding lawnmower. Point is, they would see me doing that. So what do you think happened? If I did a good job in somebody's lawn, did some trimming, took my time, didn't rush, oftentimes people would approach me and say, hey, you're doing a really good job in their lawn. Would you be interested in cutting our lawn? I say, absolutely, right? So my willingness to help, that reciprocity I was focused on and trying to help people and be a little more than just their lawn cutter. I'd pull some weeds if I needed to. If they wanted me to sweep the driveway, I'd do that. Whatever I could do to be helpful, when I used that approach, it led other people. And in fact, it attracted other people to me, which generated more business. Now you might think, okay, more business, big deal. Well, I'm old. I don't know if you noticed that. This is back when I was 13 to 14 years of age. That was quite a while ago. And I was cutting 9 lawns in the summer. 9. So you do the math, and that was back when, money wasn't the same as it is today, but I was making decent money. All because I was coming from a place of being helpful, being friendly, being genuine with people, doing a good job, which is kind of the fundamental, but really focused on reciprocity. That's what led to new business and more business without me even trying. So make sure you incorporate reciprocity in your sales strategies. Now, if you've appreciated this video, a couple things you could do to help me out. Click like so I know that this is the kind of content you want more of. Comment below on what strategies you use from a reciprocity standpoint that work well for you in sales. And of course, if you want to be notified each and every time I release a new video, click the subscribe button and you will be notified. So until next time, let's get out there and go sell something.